Okay, so chapter 3 is all about writing equations. We'll do some story problems in here eventually. We'll look at like scatter plots and different data and how to write equations from those. So all of this is writing equations. So today though we're looking at writing an equation in, that shouldn't say standard form, in slope-intercept form from a graph. So if I give you a graph, can you write the equation? Those are the really easy ones. And then if I give you a point and the slope, can you write the equation, but no graph? Okay, so today's not too bad. Does anybody know what these are called? Does anybody love Squishmallows as much as I do?
They feel so good, like so comfortable.
Yeah. Oh, aw, yeah, like I have one on my desk. My kids are obsessed with these as much as I am. So my daughter's birthday party last month was Squishmallow themed. And we have a whole lot of Squishmallows. I think at last count, I think we were up to 83 Squishmallows. 83. We have a lot of them. You're good today right there? Okay. All right. But anyway, guys. Hey, those of you who just walked in, we're in the middle of class. All right. So we are going to start writing equations. Here you go, my dear. So first part, kind of thinking through our slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your intercept. So what two things must you have to write it in this form? You need your intercept and your slope. Right, so if you know the slope and you know the intercept, you can just plug it in and you can write the equation for it. Okay, yes? Y-intercept is your starting point. Yep. All right, so write an equation of a line on the graph. So we are always writing all of our final answers, no matter how we start as we kind of go through this chapter. We're always going to write our equations in slope-intercept form. So solve them always for y, okay? So I need to know the slope and the intercept in order to write it in slope-intercept form. All right, slope-intercept form. So do I know the y? Guys. Do you know the y-intercept? Yes, we know the y-intercept is 5. That is your b. Some of you on your test flip-flopped which one was m, which one was b. And then your slope is what? 1. Good, because if you look, all these points, they're all up 1 over 1. So 1 or 1 over 1 if you want, it's fine. So if you know your slope and you know your intercept, what's the equation? It's y equals 1x plus 5. Yeah, so writing an equation from a graph is actually pretty easy because we can easily figure out what our slope is and we can see where it's crossing that y-axis and we can just plug it in the formula. All right, so write an equation for that one. What's your b? It's 5 again. What is your slope? So if that's here, it's not really crossing at every point, so for -1. So you find your next point right there. So down 2 and over 3. Good, so -2 over 3. Real quick, guys, the part I fear the most for you guys on this is a lot of you don't recognize that that's a negative slope. Grading your test, you had 3 of them on there where I gave you the picture and asked you what the slope was. I can't tell you, I bet 75, 80% of you on the ones that were negative gave me a positive slope. Yeah, you should recognize it's going downhill. It should be negative. All right, so what would this equation be? Good. So guys, we're always writing y equals mx plus b. So if you know your m and you know your b, right, you're just literally plugging those numbers in. That's all we're doing right here. Okay? All right, so what about that one? What's your y-intercept? Okay, it's crossing right there. To find that slope, find another nice point. So I can go up 1 and back 4, or I can go down 1 and over 4. But either way, it's negative. So -1 over 4. So your equation would be? Hard stuff for a Friday, right? I love stuff like this on a Friday. All right, so questions on how to write an equation from a graph. That was sarcasm. This is not hard. If you think it's hard, we need to have a talk. Oh, Harley. All right, and here's where it gets a little harder. It's really still not too bad. All right, so if you don't have the y-intercept and a slope, what do we do, right? Now, some teachers teach this different ways, so I'm not sure. Some of you may have seen this equation before. Some of you may not have. I like this equation. I think it makes more sense than the way some other people teach it. You can do it a different way, but I like to use this formula. This is point-slope form. So what two things do you think you need to use this one? A point and a slope. It's named very well, right? So if you have a point and a slope, you will plug it into point-slope form. You do not have to memorize this. I will give this to you on every quiz, every test, everything. Yeah, that's fine. Yep. All right, so point, slope, we plug it into point, slope. Again, do not have to memorize. So it's y minus y1. The y1, the second y, that's coming from your ordered pair, from your point. M, still my slope, x minus x1, that x is from the ordered pair. Okay, so just make sure it's the y1 is first, the x1 is second, which is backwards from your ordered pair. All right, once you plug stuff in, you'll just go ahead and solve that for y, right? Just we want them in slope-intercept form. Plug it into this, then you'll just distribute, and then you'll have to move that number over, and we'll be back in slope-intercept form. So let's practice. So write an equation for the line that has a slope of -3 and passes through the point -2, 1. So I have a point and I have a slope. So that's always the first thing, guys. As we kind of go through all of this chapter, you need to ask yourself, what do I have? You should always have two things. You're either going to have an intercept and the slope, then I would go to slope-intercept form. That's what I have. If I have a point and a slope, I'm going to go to point-slope form. Okay? So when we're plugging this stuff in, remember this is x, this is y. So y minus the y1 is where you plug it in. So 1 equals my slope, we said was -3. And then x minus my x value was -2. Good. That's going to make that +2. Because those two negatives, remember we had talked about that the other day, those two negatives going to make that a positive. Questions so far? I just plug numbers in. All right, from there, we want to get this back into slope-intercept form, meaning I want to get y by itself, so let's distribute. So y minus 1 equals -3x minus 6. Good. And then to get y by itself, we're just going to add 1. Which part does it get added to? The 6. Good. So y equals -3x minus 5. Do you see how we ended up right back into slope-intercept form? Which is kind of cool. All right, let's kind of see how that works together. So we were given -3 and then the point -2, 1. And then we found -3x minus 5. That was the equation we found, right? So if I were to graph this, right, how would you graph this line? Where's your starting point? -5. And then my slope, my rise over run, it's down 3 and over 1. So from my starting point, I would go down 3. Which way do I go for 1? Right or left? Right. Good. Or from my starting point, where else could I have gone? Up 3 and back 1. Up 3, back 1. Right? And we have our line. Not that I can draw a straight one. And then it like curved and went down. Sorry. So think about what we were asked to find. I just graphed our answer, right? That's what we found on that previous slide. So I graphed it. Does it have a slope of -3? Down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1. If I hadn't moved that. Oh, oops. I did move that. Stop. Somewhere in there, a little off. Okay, and then did it go through the point -2, 1? If I hadn't just moved my graph a little bit, yeah, it's right here. That was the point. I needed a slope of -3, and I wanted you to go through that point. We did. We just wrote the equation that did what it asked us to. It's kind of cool though, right? It actually went through the point I was supposed to, has the slope it's supposed to, and we wrote the right equation for it. All right, so that's what we're doing. Let's get a couple more practice. Write an equation for the line that has a slope of 5 and passes through the point 4, 2. So what two things do you have? What's that called? That's a point, and what else do you have? A slope. I have a point and a slope, so you should plug it into point slope form. Okay? See how that works though? Whatever two things you have is what you were going to use. Plug it in there. So again, that's my x, that's my y. So y minus, which number goes in here? 2 equals my m. And then x minus 4. I did not change to a plus that time because my 4 was just negative, right? So it just gets plugged in. This is point slope form. To switch it, we will now distribute. So y minus 2 equals 5x minus 20. And then to get y by itself, what do I have to do? Add the 2. And that gets added to the 20, because those are the like terms. 5x minus 18. That octopus, by the way, is like my favorite Squishmallow. I have him, my son has him in like the big size, and then I have him in the medium and in the small. We got the whole little octopus family. Squishmallows? Like I have. Have you never felt one of these? Oh. Oh, you killed him. Do you see how soft he is? I know, right? That's why at my house we have like 80 some of them. Walmart carries an off-brand. Do not be confused. No, it does not. Bring it in, because I don't think it is. Because I've seen them there. It's something close to the word Squishmallow, but it's not exact. Kroger actually sells them. And for my daughter's birthday, we got her the elephant that is, he's like this big. He's huge. Gigantic. They carry those. The giant one, he was like $60. That was her birthday present. But yeah, they have them at, that was at the toy, what's that place called? Learning Express at the mall. They carry them there. And then actually Kroger has them. Aren't these nice? They're just so like, they're so soft.
What if they customize your own?
They don't customize your own. Yeah, I know. That's like a question on their website all the time. Oh, but no, like I gotta tell you guys though. So I told you my daughter's birthday was all Squishmallow themed, so I made all kinds of stuff. I'm a Pinterest mom when it comes to my kids' birthdays. And so I contacted Squishmallow, like their company, and like told them about it. I was like, you know, I just wonder if you want to see pictures, if you're interested. And their marketing manager contacted me and said he would love to see pictures. So I sent him a bunch of pictures of all the decorations and everything from her party. And then he asked if they could use it on their Facebook page. So they were going to post stuff on their Facebook page from my daughter's birthday party. And he's like, I need your address. We're going to send you just like a little something as a thank you for your love of Squishmallows. And we got a box in the mail and it had like 6 Squishmallows in it. My kids were so excited. Yeah, it was really cool. I love it. It's on their thing a lot, people asking, but they don't customize them. Yeah. Yes, Garrick, if you're listening, this would be fun. You missed out on all the Squishmallow conversation. All right. My son has that one too. He loves birds, so that was his birthday present for his birthday. Was the bird one. My youngest loves the cats. She loves cats, so she has probably like 10 different cat Squishmallows. Yeah, there's tons of them. All right, so number 6, guys. So write an equation for the line that has a slope of -3/7 and passes through the point 7, -3. So what two things do we have? We have a slope and a point. So let's go to point slope form. So I heard somebody say clear the fraction. Don't. Like let's leave it for right now, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and plug it in. Remember, this is x and this is y. So y minus -3, so it's +3. My slope, -3/7, and then x minus 7.
Now we can
All right, that is point slope form. Should you clear them?
Oh no, you can use that for your rise over run.
Right, don't clear it, because that's going to make more work for you. In this case, do not clear your fractions, guys. Just go with them. So we have y plus 3 equals, that'll give me -3/7 x. And you're right, that's a rise over run, so we want that to be a fraction. -3/7, whoops, times -7. Oh, it's a +3. We should know that one, right? The 7 on top, 7 on bottom are going to cancel each other. You can grab a calculator if you're not good with fractions. Grab a calculator. Good, and then we'll just subtract 3. So y equals just -3/7 x. Yep. So you can have the +0 if you want, or you can be lazy like me and not write it. How are we thinking so far? Good. Good. All right. I've never seen the purple octopus. I want him. I've never seen the purple one. So if you see the purple one, buy him for me, and I'll pay you back. Yes. A purple octopus? That's sad. Costco has Squishmallows numerous times of the year, and like you can get like the bigger ones for like $10. They're $9.99. So whenever they have those, my kids are like, oh! So then they all walk out with another giant Squishmallow. My husband about kills me when they come home. All right, guys, last one on your own. That's a thing, fraction phobia. Kurt. Tells it. All right, so they gave us a slope, which is my m. They gave you a point, that's your x1, y1. We're going to plug stuff in. So y minus, it's -6, so it becomes +6. My slope is a +2/3. And then x minus, since that's a negative number, that makes that +2. Guys, double check right now that you changed the signs and everything. Toby. Guys, come on. Double check. You have y +6 at this point, that you changed that. And you had an x +2 in that parentheses. Because you're plugging in those negatives, so your signs changed. All right, from here you should have distributed. So y +6 equals 2/3 x plus 2/3 times 2 is 4/3. Or you could have changed that to 1 1/3. I don't care which way you wrote it, so either way is fine. And then subtract 6. So y equals 2/3 x. Again, grab a calculator, guys. 4/3 minus 6 is -4 2/3. Or if you wrote it the other way, that was 14/3. Either way is fine. I don't care. That is simplified. If you're just writing the equation, I don't care which way you leave it. If you were going to actually graph that, you would need 4 2/3 because where's 14/3 on a graph, right? You're not really sure. If you're just writing it, guys, you could leave it 14/3, but if you were going to graph, Harley, you would have to switch that to 4 2/3. Okay? All right, questions on what we did today? Writing an equation from a graph, you can go right to slope-intercept form, right? Find your slope, find your intercept, you're good to go. And then this way, if you have a point and a slope, plug it in, and then just solve for y. Good? What time's your interview?